Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I am going to talk about the 10 best eyeshadow palettes that I have tried this year. Now, not all of them has been released this year, but they are some of my favorites that I have tried throughout the year. I am not gonna rank them since the year is almost over, but I will in the end of the year rank all of them, so I will mention them in no particular order. But if you are known to my channel, you basically know which ones are at the top. Some might surprise you in the end of the year, but that's another video. But before we hop into the video, I just wanted to say that this video is kindly sponsored by Ana Luisa. Ana Luisa and I have worked a few times in the past, and I have always enjoyed working with them. If you are unknown to the brand, they are a jewelry brand. They have earrings, they have necklaces, and they have bracelets and rings. So the reason why I love the brand is because they have high quality products. Now, I don't know if you're aware of this, but I have ever since I got like a very small allowance from my mom, I've always loved earrings. When I went to school, people used to joke about the fact that I had new earrings almost every single day because I just thought that it was so much fun. Now, I was a little bit more outgoing with my earrings in the past. However, today I wear pretty clean and beautiful high quality pieces. I don't mind paying a little bit extra for a pair of earrings if they are gonna work with my skin. I have an allergy against nickel, and that is basically in most jewelries, and that means that my skin gets green and it reacts very harshly to it. So I can't wear earrings or jewelry in general that has shitty quality to them. But Ana Luisa is really good on that. I have used their earrings for years now, and I've showered with them, I've slept with them. When I grow obsessed with a pair, I have them on the entire time. I never take them off, and I sleep with them, I shower with them, and they have held up. They have had no problems with the quality at all, which I love. So I have 3 different pairs to show you guys today. So the first pair I have is these ones that I am going to show you right now that I'm wearing. They are so beautiful and elegant. I just think they have so much, I don't know, like class to them. They are so pretty. I just think that they're so incredibly stunning. And then we have the classic hoops. The hoops are not big, but they're not small either. I just think that they are a perfect everyday size. They are absolutely incredible, and I just love wearing them. And the last pair is just these small little bits that I have right here. I did just put them on as well, just so you could see what they look like alone on your ear. However, I prefer them to be like this. I prefer them to be in my other holes that I have right here. And right now Ana Luisa is having a huge 20% off sale on their website, so I definitely recommend you guys to go ahead and check it out. I am gonna have links in my description box just so you can go ahead and check it out, and it really helps me out if you shop through them, and it also helps me out if you click on them. So I would really love it if you would just check out their website. Just click it down below if you like and want to support me. I really appreciate it. And thank you again to Ana Luisa for sponsoring this video. And now let's just get into the palettes in no particular order. So let's start off with what I'm having on my eyes today. So a lot of these palettes are gonna be very elegant, they're gonna be very chic, they're gonna be very soft and like feminine. I'm trying to outface the word boring, but they are very elegant and brown leaning, and this one is no exception. I think this is the only one, no, I'm not gonna say that, but this is one of the few that I haven't purchased myself, and that is the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk palette. Now, full disclosure, I have not used the living crap out of this palette as I have with some of the other ones that I'm going to show you. However, did I say that I got this from one of you guys? I hope I did, and thank you. So I think the last time I was really shocked when it came to like a matte formula in a good way was when I used the Urban Decay Naked Honey palette. Like this has outblown it. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk palette, not Quad, but the palette. This palette is absolutely stunning to me. I think that this is like a perfect everyday section and or everyday palette. And if I got to pick one section that was my favorite, it is these three, and these are the ones I've used the most. I have not used each and every shadow. If I were to change anything, I would love for this one to be a little bit lighter and brighter. But the mattes, I don't know what to tell you. They are not creams, but they perform like a cream or like a moussey shadow. It's almost like you put them on and then you try and like blend it out. You don't even try because they blend themselves. And it just looks so effortless. I don't know how to explain it, but the formula is, once you apply it on the eye, it's just like a beautiful veil that just kind of, as I said, blends itself. I know I've said it a million times, like a palette that blends itself, or a quality or a matte shadow blends itself, but this is the only time I've truly meant it. Every other time I've been lying to you guys. I haven't been lying. I need to say that because otherwise people are gonna drag me. The packaging on this one is also really luxe. It has this weight to it, but it's still very like slim and elegant. And then this clasp, it's like a magnetic clasp. Don't know. It's just great. I'm drinking coffee with a little bit of cinnamon in it, so I get like these cinnamon bulbs on my lips. I'm trying to remove them every single time, but it's hard every time I need to take a sip, and they can also get on my teeth. So if you see that, apologies. Let's talk about two mini palettes, shall we? The first one is the Natasha Denona Mini Nude palette. I've said it time and time again, I want her to come out with a big one of these. Everyone says, but that's the Biba. No, it's not. The Biba has a row for every color. Like one is warm, one is cool, and one is neutral. I don't want that shit. I want these caramel, warm, but not really, kind of hazelnutty shades. I love that, and that's what I want in a palette. I want something super bright, but I also want something a little bit more like chocolatey. Anyway, this is pure perfection. This is a beautiful palette. I love the fact that she has this shade that is like a lighter one. The browns are just the tones that I love. This could be a little bit more hazelnutty, but I'll take it. This one has like a green shift to it. It's not like something you need to be scared of, that it's gonna be like super apparent, but it's gonna be unique enough where you kind of stop and be and react and wonders what's on my eyes, and it's just this one. Next up we have a little quad. This is the only quad that I'm gonna show, and this is also the first time I'm a little bit unsure. Did I get this late last year or did I get this early this year? I tried to look it up. I can't find my order confirmation, so if it's not this year, then I truly apologize. This is a palette that you guys have tried to find. I have also really tried to find it and to link it, but it is sold out. So this is the Bobbi Brown Luxe Eyeshadow Quad. I found it at Look Fantastic, and I can find it anywhere. I saw that Feel Unique had a couple, but also keep in mind I'm from Sweden, I live in Europe, so maybe, you know, I can't really find it in the US because I don't know where you guys shop, but European websites it seems to be sold out of. But this is the beautiful quad. So this is amazing just because it has like these two sparkly shadows. Like this is the most sparkly one, so all of them are shimmers, and then this one and this one is a little bit softer, so they're kind of like a beautiful satin shade. I would think of them as maybe some sort of formula that maybe Chanel or Dior use, that wants to be a little bit soft. They don't want these punchy super sparkly shadows, because they speak to a older person that has a little bit more wrinkles on the eyes. And most of the times, not always, but most of the times, mature skin wants something to be a little bit more satin-esque. Also keep in mind that I've never tried Chanel or Dior, so I don't know what kind of quality they have, but it's just an assumption. This is beautiful, this is perfection. If you ever find it, swatch it at least. Just swatch it. You don't have to purchase it, because I'm sure you don't need it, but just swatch it. Let's add some color to these palettes, shall we? I want to talk about a colorful palette that launched this year. It is a collaboration between a fellow Swede and an indie brand. And that is the Kaleidos and Angelica Nyqvist collaboration, the Nebula Palette. She did a fantastic job on this palette. The color story is absolutely stunning. The shadows, like the shimmer shadows, are sparkly. They are beautiful. Some of them are not as foiled as they could be, because they are a little bit more acting like, you know, a little bit more like a topper. And I love toppers. I think that they are a beautiful way of getting a little bit of like a hint of color to the lid without it being too much, and you just get that oomph with all of the sparkles. I've said it time and time again, but I think she did an amazing job with the colors and also the color layout. I love the fact that she did like row by row, just like I said Natasha Denona did with her Biba palette. It had one row of neutrals, one row of warm and cool tones. I don't know if it is in that order because I don't own it. However, this one, absolutely fantastic, great job. I realized that most of these palettes are like palettes that's no longer available. Most of them, not all of them. So let's talk about another palette that is limited edition. I don't know if you can find it anymore. Maybe in the US, but it's starting to sell out here in Europe. It's no longer available at Feel Unique, and it's no longer available at Cult Beauty. I think it is sold out there, I think. And that is the Natasha Denona Metropolis palette. This one I had been lusting over for years and years and years, and I never picked it up. And then I finally did, and I am so happy that I did, because yes, it might be a little bit too warm for my liking, if I'm gonna be totally honest, but I can make it work, and I just feel so pretty every time I use it. I don't think I go as colorful with it as I know a lot of other people do, but I am really enjoying it. And I've talked about Hannah on Instagram, Beautybird16, I think her Instagram name is. I can link her down below, but I talked about her several times, and I just love every single time she uses this, because she uses makeup in a way that I do. It's a little bit more soft and elegant, and just shit ton of sparkles. Now mine doesn't look like maybe yours does if you end up purchasing it, because it had this kind of bluish shade right here, yes, but this is actually the shade Silk that you got in the bronze palette. I have still the shade Silk in my bronze palette. However, this is a mini that I got free with purchase one time. Stunning palette, beautiful for fall and every time. If you want more inspiration with this one and like the green tones, Veronica from VC Pants over at Instagram uses this so often. That sounded condescending. I don't mean it as that. I mean it as a super positive way, and I just adore her to absolute filth. If I changed position, I needed to take my socks off. It was getting warm. I'm sure you have been waiting for me to mention this one because I've talked about it so much, but that is the Huda Beauty Naughty Nude palette. I thought for the longest time that this was just called the Naughty palette, but no, it's the Naughty Nude. And this one I have been using so much, but you cannot tell because usually, you know, I complain about creators being like, oh, you can see that this has been well loved, and then all you can see is that you have swatched the palette, but this one I have used to absolute filth, and now that I look in the viewfinder I can see that it looks like I have barely touched it. I don't know, like every single shade in here is just so pigmented. It doesn't have a lot of kick up, and you don't need a lot, and that's something I've realized with how I do my makeup this year, that I don't go ham like I used to do. I used to dip my brush in, I used to swirl, not swirl maybe, but you know, I added on a shit ton of eyeshadow, and this year I need something to be a little bit softer. I'm saying as I have like a intense smoky eye. Doesn't matter. This one is incredible. I love the quality of it, but mostly I love the tones. I think that I've said this so many times, but if you love a color story, you can use a mediocre quality because you don't care. If you love the colors, you will make it work. And here I just love every single color, maybe not every single one, but I love the colors. I think they are beautiful, and something that made me purchase it is this yucky, stinking shade that everyone hates. I think it's beautiful, I think it's unique, and I actually use it as a glitter glue. Yes, it's maybe a little bit unnecessary, but it made this palette on the map. Do you know how many people did videos on it and everyone complained about it? Of course she's gonna do it again. It brought her so many sales, but mostly the shimmers are foiled. The shimmers are, some of them are a little bit sparklier than others, but mostly they're just foiled. The one con with the mattes is that they can sometimes, not sometimes, but most of the times, they look a little bit different in the pan versus on the eyes. So sometimes I am a little bit confused like which shade is which and how they look. So sometimes I swatch it out on my hand just to get an idea, and that is just a little recommendations from me to you. Another palette that I tried to get my hands on for such a long time, it was sold out. I complained and complained and complained. I remember this summer I was walking around with my phone in my pocket at work, and every 10 minutes I looked at Cult Beauty and refreshed to see if it had come back in stock, but it hadn't. Well, eventually it did. I am of course talking about the Patrick Ta Major Dimension palette. This one has been my go-to every single time I want to go out and have like a date night. It's just a pure perfection to me. It's a boring basic palette, but a beautiful everyday palette, and it also works great if you're going out. Now, you are aware that I love the Shockem pigment from NARS, and this is a dupe for it, but it's not as flaky, it doesn't give you as much fallout, and it's a lot easier to use. Now, I have a few gripes as well with this one. I haven't really figured out how to use these two shadows, and the creams actually crease. I did a look only using the creams one time, and it creased like a mother effer. I waited about like 30 minutes to see if it would set, and it didn't, so I had to go over it with another shade from the palette. The matte's beautiful, but the shimmers again is what makes this one. These mattes has a little bit more kick up, but you can't go wrong with this one. You cannot go wrong with this one. It's just pure perfection. Let's talk about Natasha Denona, shall we? And I am gonna talk about the retro palette. Now, I was confused when this one launched because it had different pictures, like it looked different in different pictures, and I would say that you won't really know until you see it in real life. Well, I would say that this is a great representation actually. Now, I like this one a lot. I really do. However, it's not my perfect palette. I think that it's stunning, but I cannot put my finger on what it is that's missing. This one is a little bit too like almost like peachy salmony for me. However, it is beautiful. What I tend to do is maybe mix this one and this one or this one just to get that kind of a little bit warmer crease that I love. I have also used this with the Patrick Ta palette, so I've used the mattes from the Patrick Ta one and then this one with like from the shimmers and then a little bit of this one, because I just love a warm crease with tones like these that are a little bit more like pinky and just a little bit warmer pinks. I just think it's stunning, and purples. But this one, fantastic. I love Natasha's formula, and I love the fact that she does midi palettes. We only have 2 left, and I don't think you're gonna be able to guess these 2, but prove me wrong in the comments. So first up, or 9th up, not ranking, is the Urban Decay Naked Wild West palette. This one I have talked about several times. I think it's such a fun palette. I think they knocked it out of the park with this one. I am going to say that I am this boring person that doesn't use this blue one. However, I have been using this one. I don't know what it is, like this a little bit more like pooly shade. I don't know if that's just me, but I feel like when I see colors like this, I always think about a pool, like the water from the pool. I don't know, maybe it's just me. But I think that it's stunning, and I think they did a great job, because you kind of have to remember, like, people are trying to change Urban Decay. They're trying to change them into being something that they're not. They lean a little bit more towards like the makeup enthusiast that loves these kind of colors, that is not as adventurous as someone that loves and owns 50 rainbow palettes. So they have a demographic, and they try to speak to them when it comes to their naked line. When they do the Game of Thrones one or the Prince one, whatever, they speak to another demographic. But with this one, they speak to me. I feel like they speak to me, and I think that Urban Decay has done some beautiful palettes, and I think that this quality is amazing. So let's see if anyone guessed the correct last palette, and that is the Natasha Denona Star palette. This is officially my most expensive palette that I own in my entire collection, and I cannot believe I spent that much money on a palette, but I did, and I am happy that I did. So if you haven't seen it, this is what it looks like. I think that this one is also facing out, but I could be wrong. Here you only have the standard matte shadows. You don't have a single cream to powder formula. You do have this one in a mini, so if you were to love, I think it's mostly these ones and this one that is in that like mini palette, I mean, if you wanted that one. But I love the fact that she has divided it into 2 different sections, because it feels like if she had just kind of rumbled it up, I would lose my mind. Like, I wouldn't know what to do. This one is so underrated to me. I don't know why more people aren't talking about it, because the formula is incredible. The shimmers is outstanding. Granted, I haven't used all of them because these colors aren't really my thing, but I just think that this one is so phenomenal. The mattes are super dry, you know, where they are like super ultra matte on your eyes, and not in a bad way. It's just like they're so matte and beautiful, and the shimmers has a bunch of different textures. So this one is way more flaky than, for instance, this one is a little bit, it's still super sparkly, but it is a little bit softer. It doesn't have that kind of glitter aspect to it. I think that Natasha does one of my absolute favorite eyeshadow quality, and I just want her to come out with that nude palette that I talked about, and then I'm all set. So please let me know which two palettes are your favorites. So I would love to know a palette that you got like early this year that is still a favorite, and then maybe a later palette that is a favorite this year, because I love reading your comments and you're so different. Like some of you are gonna love like a palette I never heard about that you got early this year, and then some are gonna feel exactly like I am because you have similar taste to me, and I really want to know. So let me know your favorite from the beginning of the year, and then maybe one a little bit older or newer launch, I mean, that might be a favorite of yours. But that was all I had today. I just want to remind you to click the link in the description box and check out Ana Luisa if you want high quality pieces, sustainable pieces that are allergy friendly. Definitely go ahead and check out their sale. They're, as I said, having a amazing 20% off currently. So again, click the link in the description box. Don't also forget to subscribe or like and dislike this video, depending on how you liked it, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!